Hello everyone, welcome to Vintage Vibes Automotive. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Mark 3 Golf, specifically the GTi 16v ABF engine. Now I don't claim to know everything about Mark 3 Golfs, but I have had a handful of Mark 3 Golfs in the past. I built a Mark 3 Golf 20v turbo, which was formerly a 1.9 turbo diesel, and I've converted a 2-litre 8v GTi to a 2-litre 16v GTi. This guide is actually the conversion that I did on the 2-litre 16v ABF engine. The 16v differs from the normal 2-litre 8v because the gearbox is different and the gear selector is different, and it's also a hydro clutch instead of a cable. If you'd like to know more about the engine conversions for the Mark 3 Golf, please let me know and I'll make a video on how I did the 2-litre 16v conversion and the parts you would need. On the 2-litre 16v ABF engines and the 2-litre 8v 2E engines, they suffer from idle issues from the idle stabilisation valve. On the 16v, it's located under this black plastic cover. They also suffer with crank sensor issues. This is for the 1.8 8-valve, the 2-litre 8-valve and the 2-litre 16-valve. The crank sensor is located behind the front engine mount, and the wires corrode and degrade over time, and this will give the engine no spark, and it obviously won't start then. This is a really common issue on the GTIs. A lot of people buy the wrong alternator belt for the 16 valve. You need to get the longer 16 valve alternator belt, because if not, the alternator pulley will start clicking on startup. The 16 valve throttle bodies can also play up. There's a little micro switch right here which controls the idle, and sometimes that can go dead and your idle will be a little bit all over the place. Starter motors for the O2A gearbox can be a little bit temperamental, but that's to do with age. But there's plenty of choice if they do go. You can use one from an O2J gearbox. That's what I've used on this ABF as well as the gear linkage. That's also from an O2J gearbox. On the 1.8, the 2-litre 8-valve and the 2-litre 16-valve, the water pump can also leak if it's not torqued down properly. These engines are not too bad on fuel, in my experience anyway, but you can experience fueling issues if you have a bad O2 sensor, or on the 2-litre 8 valves a bad NAF sensor also. The 16 valves also like to leak oil from the distributor, and that can normally be replaced with the O-ring seal, but sometimes it's the internal seal inside the distributor. They also like to leak coolant from here, which is normally fixed by changing the O-ring. The rocker covers like to leak oil as well, and make sure you get a good Febby Bilstein gasket because cheap ones will still leak. They also leak oil down here into the spark plugs, which could cause a misfire. The 16 valves also don't have a MAF sensor. Instead, it's in the ECU and it's connected by this hose. Most Mark 3 Golfs have a coil pack like this, unless it's a VR6. These are also temperamental and do end up going. And when they go, your car most likely won't run at all. So it's always good to carry a spare one of these around, because you'll have no spark if they go. ABS units on Mark 3 Golfs are never really a problem, or I've not had a problem, but the sensors do cause quite a lot of problems now. This can be down to wear or the heat shield from the hub falling off and then blocking your ABS reader sensor. That's what happened to me. The rubber on the top of the scuttle panel can also degrade over time. This one's okay, but a lot of them have perished. If we look down here, the steering wheel linkage boot can degrade over time, which also then lets heat inside the car when the engines are really warm. It's not too rare, but the suspension turrets can start to rust as well, sometimes underneath, sometimes where the ABS cable goes, and as you can see on this one, it's just starting to rust here, right there. It's hard to show on the video, but the mileage and the clock little LCD screens, they degrade as well. So it's like they've got like burns in, so it's hard to see while you're driving unless you have the lights on. Now the ABF 16 valve isn't really known for its fuel economy, but when driven reasonably well and maintained reasonably well, they can be good on miles per gallon. So over 29 minutes and 11 miles, it's done 37.1 miles per gallon. Over 22 hours, 566 miles, it's achieved 34.1 miles per gallon. The electric windows on the Mark 3 Golf can be quite temperamental. This is because normally like the ground comes off or wires get frayed and detached in the door. Sometimes you can repair this and this doesn't work, so then you'd need to take the door card off. And what I find helps is if you undo the connector for the electric window and then plug it back in, it'll end up working again. This has happened a couple of times now. To show the window problems, look, you can press the switch, nothing happens. Pull this up, pull this out, which is for the window regulator, plug it back in, now touch the switch and there we go. The roof lining will also fall down with age, so will need to be redone at some point. On a lot of Mark III Golfs, the foam behind the dashboard and the heater matrix starts to degrade and fall apart, which means while you're driving and you turn the blowers on to full, it all blows out in your face. And also going from cold to hot might not be as effective as it used to because all the foam is degraded. The glove box handles always break as well. So this little bit here, it's only held in by a little bit of plastic. So that often breaks when you pull it like that and then it won't open. If you ever have this problem, what you need to do is get a flathead screwdriver and insert it about here and push it down to open the lock, and then that should open the glove box. The steering wheel covers are now quite old and rare to find. These can also snap at where the screws are located. So unfortunately you'll have to cable tie them back or find another one. Some Mark III Golfs have heated seats, although it is quite rare. A lot of the time though, the driver's heated seat doesn't work. But this can be solved by taking the seat apart, finding where it's broken and repairing it, and it should work after. You also have really old dealership fitted alarms from the 90s which don't really work as intended anymore. This alarm in fact stopped the car from running for a short time. So the loom from the fuse box to the ignition had to be bypassed with another loom to get it to work properly, although that's the only bit of bypass, so unlocking remotely still works. Bolster wear is also quite common on these Recaro seats. The little plastic runners down there can wear out in the seats, so it'll give you a nice seat vibration. Mark III Golfs also love to rust, so that's where the ABS wire is, and you can see where it's all corroding around that, where water's been getting in. Dirt can also get underneath the seals and then rust from the seals out. Now this GTi isn't too bad, I've always looked after it, but the bottom of the front wings can rust as well, because dirt can come down from when it rains and it'll fill all the way up to around here and it'll rot the whole bottom of the wing out. And also these strips here tend to rust. They can rust from the front sills, but they also rust on the back. So water and dirt gets trapped in here and then rises all the way up. But you also have, if it's a GTi, the arch trim, which also rusts as well because they get dirt trapped in underneath them, which you can't get out, and that will probably end up in there for years and years and years until it's rotten. They also like to rust on the inner sills as well. As you can see, I've had some patches here myself. They also like to rust from the bungs underneath the rear seats and floor pan. They're also at the age now where the tank straps have had their life and they're starting to rust, they'll snap off. But you can buy stainless steel replacements, which are about £40. The rubber rear axle bushes are also a point of interest there. The rubber always ends up getting perished and corrodes and can cause a lot of play in your rear axle. It also rusts around the rear axle mounting point as well. They rust here as well inside the filler cap, they rust around these bottom edges, and they rust from the inside out. The rear inner wheel arch, as you can see here, can also rust. I've just cut the very bottom bit off for now to stop mine rusting, but it is something I need to sort out. You also get rust at the corners of the door, such as here, which will then rust down the edge. This is sometimes from stone chips. Now if you've got a flash red or a tornado red Golf, they also suffer from like UV sun damage, so they end up going pink, and also the lacquer starts to peel. They also like to rust around the sunroof around here, and also around here from stone chips or maybe a windscreen being fitted. They also commonly have water leaks, so it's always good to clean them out, clean the pipes out with the trombone cleaner or trumpet cleaner, whatever you want to call it. It's right down here, and all you have to do is feed it in and it should come out in this pipe down there. That pipe is like a little U-bend, and it also gets clogged and loads of muck gets stuck in there as well. You can also touch the end of the pipe and that should get some of the mud out. The clips that hold the rub strips on are basically like a one-time use thing, so once you pull them off they end up breaking, so they also break over time, so a lot of them they're hanging off. The rear light seal as well also perishes and degrades over time, so water will leak through your rear lights and then down into your boot, causing a lot of condensation in winter. The black plastic trim also fades over time and ends up going white/grey. So boiled linseed oil really helps to make these pop and go back to black. The central locking works on a vacuum pump, which is here just inside the boot. Sometimes the lines can snap or perish, and the central locking pumps in the doors can also, the pipe can snap off the end, and this can also give a problem to the central locking working properly, or one door not closing. The central locking works on a vacuum pump, which is here just inside the boot. Sometimes the lines can snap or perish, and the central locking pumps in the doors can also, the pipe can snap off the end, and this can also give a problem to the central locking working properly, or one door not closing.